There are plenty of ways to buy property in Prague, even for foreigners. Here is the safest and proven by 21 years of experience. We'll talk about the mortgage, the rules, and most importantly, what to look out for. I'm Martina and today I will give you a complete guide how to buy your own property in beautiful Prague. In the Czech Republic, it is the case that anyone can buy a property. You don't need to be a permanent or temporary resident. In fact, you don't even need to be physically here. This is where buying is easy and convenient for foreigners. However, the type of your residence permit will affect the mortgage if you need one. We'll discuss that in a moment. If you have experience buying property in your own country, expect it to be different here, either completely or in some steps of the process. In my legal practice, I focus on expats who want to buy property here in Prague. And it makes no difference if it is a property for their own living or for investment, for the purpose of preserving the value or for the purpose of renting it out again. Both for long-term rental and for Airbnb. This is still possible in Prague, Airbnb, although restrictions are slowly coming. Where to look for a property to buy? In the Czech Republic, we have one main website where the vast majority of all properties that are on the market are listed. This is called caringlegal.cz, and you will find advertisements from real estate agencies as well as private sellers who sell without a real estate agent. This is also often the case in the Czech Republic. Many people can arrange the whole selling process without paying a commission to a real estate agent. We will talk about selling a property in the next video. However, there are plenty of other ways and places to search. I cover this in detail in How to Search for Your Dream Property, where I offer 9+1 tips. This document is free to download on my website caringlegal.cz in the product section. You can find the link here under the video. Searching for a property first or arranging a mortgage? There is a simple answer to that. Do it at the same time. When you start your search, you'll get clear on exactly what you are looking for, what kind of property you can get, in what location, whether you really need a house with a garden or whether you rather have an apartment with a view. Do you want to commute or are you looking for property in the center? At the same time, when arranging a mortgage, you will find out how much the bank will actually lend you, so you can increase the price in your search and widen your options, or you may need to discount the requirements and look for a lower price range just because of lack of funds. It is very important to have the money ready, because when you find the property you want, the seller will not be keen to wait months to sort out the mortgage, but will sell it to whoever has the money available, either cash or a mortgage ready to go. Speaking of mortgages, I definitely recommend working with a mortgage advisor, and one that knows how to work for foreigners, has experience with it, and knows the specifics that it brings. Why? Because a good mortgage advisor will get you a better interest rate at the bank than if you come to your own bank on your own. The advisor has a higher turnover rate and the bank values him or her, so you can benefit from that as well. Personally, when I take out a mortgage, I always go through a mortgage advisor, both because of the low rate and because of all the paperwork he does for me. If you don't have a mortgage advisor, I'm happy to make recommendations on the ones I work with who have best expertise and are true professionals in their field. Drop me a message, I'll be happy to help. When you are choosing a property and you want to buy a flat, which is the vast majority of my clients, make sure whether it is private ownership or cooperative. Private ownership means you are the direct owner with all the advantages it has. Like you can put a mortgage on the flat, rent it out, do an Airbnb in most cases. When you buy a cooperative property, you don't become the owner, but you are a member of the cooperative that owns it. You just have a lease. The property is completely decided by the co-op, and you are at the discretion of the co-op to allow you to rent it or not. Plus, they will most probably charge you for giving this consent. Cooperative flats are often cheaper, so it looks tempting, but there are lots of restrictions. I cover the details of these differences in my ultimate guide for buying a property, which you can buy on my website. I definitely recommend reading it as a first step when you are considering buying. The link is at the bottom of the video. At the same time, you need to pay close attention to whether the property you are buying is actually registered as a flat in cadastre. Sometimes a property looks like a flat, but is not registered as a flat and is a non-residential premises. This has huge consequences. The most significant one is that it's not a flat. It is not possible to live in it for a long time. This will cause problems when registering for residency with the immigration police. It also has implications for insurance, parking zones, and many other things. It has happened several times that clients have bought non-residential space. They did not consult before signing the booking contract and they did not have the property inspected. They committed to buying a space that is not and cannot be a condo. Be very careful about this and always ask for a lawyer's check before you sign the first contract that commits you to pay the first money. Always before you sign the reservation contract. Why? Because as soon as you sign the reservation contract, you are committed to buy the property. And if you change your mind about buying, you pay a penalty. The penalty is usually equal to the reservation fee. The cost is 3 to 5% of the purchase price, often plus tax, so this is a big money that you definitely don't want to lose. This check not only checks to see if this really would be a flat, but also other things, such as if there are any restrictions on the property, if there is a seller's mortgage, which is very common and needs to be taken into account in the process of buying, of course. Let's talk about your property together from the moment you are thinking about buying it and starting to look for a property. We will solve a lot of problems for you that could easily arise. How long does it take to arrange a mortgage? Count on a few months. Usually it's at least 2 months, often 3 to 4. What does it influence? Mainly on how quickly all the necessary documents can be put together, whether it is a standard or non-standard case, whether the bank is currently overloaded with applications because they have just lowered the interest rate a little. These are reasons that are out of your control because they're completely on the bank's side, so it's crucial to have enough time for the process. Let's talk about how long the whole buying process takes. Expect the buying process to take several months. Don't give notice of the lease where you are now living before everything is signed and the contracts are at cadastre, as the process can be delayed at any time. I have had clients who had to move out before they got the keys of their new property because they didn't ask and they didn't think it would take that long at all. Something can be influenced, for example, if you have a mortgage pre-approved in advance. Something cannot be influenced, the process at the bank, the cadastre, which has at least 3 weeks to process the ownership transfer, and this time cannot be shortened because it's set by law. Can you sign a reservation contract even if your mortgage has not been approved yet? It is set up so that if the buyer does not get a mortgage and therefore cannot buy the property, it is his problem and he loses the reservation fee. Sometimes we try to put a clause in the reservation contract that the reservation fee is refunded if the mortgage doesn't come through, but this is very rarely accepted by the seller as he is interested in those clients who have the money ready. So I highly recommend signing a reservation contract only where your mortgage is pre-approved. Negotiate the purchase price. Even though Czechs are not a nation where negotiation is normally in everyday life, property prices in advertisements are often inflated with the idea that we'll give it a try and then go down in price. This is an approach of the vast majority of brokers. Count on it and negotiate. You are counting on asking for a discount. There is no one right tactic to get a better price, but always ask for a discount. At most, you won't get it. If you are buying a house, it's definitely advisable to get an inspection report done by a professional who will assess the condition of the property so you know what you are buying and what condition. What renovations will need to be done, often revealing other defects not mentioned. And this document is then a good basis for, among other things, for negotiating the price. I often hear questions about what fees and taxes are related to purchase. There used to be a property purchase tax, so it's possible to come across it on the internet, but this has been abolished, so the buyer pays no tax. After the purchase, you need to register for property tax. We help clients with this, as it is not entirely straightforward. At the same time, I have written a document advising on how to deal with property taxes. I also give advice on the taxes you would pay if you were selling the property and how to legally avoid them. This guide is ready to buy on my website. There are a few fees. There is a fee at the land registry of 2,000 Czech crowns. Then there is a fee for verification of documents, signatures, for some certificates for the bank, but these are in order of hundreds of crowns. The mortgage advisor is paid directly by the bank, so you don't pay anything there. You will also need to pay it for legal services. Check out our website, caringlegal.cz, where we have detailed this in 2 different packages. Frequently asked questions. Do I need a lawyer when buying? Yes. Even if you pay the reservation fee, which is later used for agent's remuneration, the agent works for the seller who hired them. So if any controversy arises, the agent has an obligation to side with the seller who did hire him and who is paying him. The mortgage broker is working for you, but only to the extent of the bank and the contracts with the bank. So there is no one working for you to protect your interests regarding purchase itself. And it's a good idea to hire a lawyer for that, even if you speak Czech. Because it's not just about understanding the text, it's about having the property checked from the legal point of view, that the purchase is safe. Because that's what it's all about. You don't want to spend millions and do the transaction of a lifetime, and then wait to see if something pops up or doesn't pop up. You want peace of mind, you want the inspection done for you by someone who does it every day and has experience. A good lawyer will not limit themselves to just reading the purchase agreement, but will guide you through the entire process. We guide our clients from the beginning, from the moment they think even going to buy, to the moment they get the keys, and help with everything that comes out. All my contact details are below this video. Use of 21 years of my experience. I'm very much looking forward to working for you.